You're listening to CYOP, Create Your Own Pod Venture, APPeal. This branching story follows your choices, changing as you respond to what the story places in your path. What's waiting for you at the end? Keep moving and find out. Now, where were we? After deciding to invest what money you have into APPeal's development, you run into a bottleneck. You've determined the best test of APPeal's enhanced abilities is to ask it for some excitement in your life. You lean forward and push against the bridge of your nose. You spent so long perfecting this project with no true end goal beyond its sale, but if you're right, you hold the key to the rest of your life right here. With any luck, it can also help you recoup some of the money you've sunken into this development. Give me some more excitement, you say. Give me some excitement and prove to me you're worth it. APPeal doesn't spend long calculating the best route towards what you're asking, whatever that may be. You follow its waypoint outside down the street to the bus stop. The bus into the city arrives, and you board it. The waypoint is somewhere downtown, but you take the opportunity to simply enjoy being out and about with people around. No one on the bus meets your gaze, but you catch a few of them looking at your strange headgear. If only they knew what kind of tech you were testing. You disembark the bus downtown near the financial sector. The waypoint leads you down the sidewalk, and you pointedly ignore anyone who isn't in the headset's focus. It's a gorgeous day out, and you take a moment to appreciate the warmth. It seems you spent the entirety of the winter indoors perfecting APPeal's functions, and hopefully it was worth it. You let the warm wind whip at you for a moment before you follow the waypoint across the street. It leads to a glass revolving door, and you go in with little hesitation. The interior of the building is ornate, a bank you realize, with a chandelier and overstuffed armchairs in the waiting area. A wall of tellers to the right, though the waypoint leads you past them. You follow it, almost automatically, as you take in the surroundings. It's been so long since you've been in a crowded public space, you've almost forgotten what it was like. The waypoint leads you through a pair of doors and down a set of stairs. You consider how it knows the path to take, but the GPS you installed is relatively sophisticated. And with the upgrades, it's probably able to jack into the internet and intuitively download any blueprints available in public databases. And who knows what that Russian chip does? Maybe it's actually military hardware and you've actually made it so APPeal can hack into public networks. You laugh at the thought as the waypoint leads you into a small alcove. You stop, there's no exit, but the waypoint has started to display a countdown. Wait. 7. 6. 5. Wait, where are you? You suddenly realize you followed the waypoint into the employee-only part of the bank. Not just that, but as you look out into the corridor, you realize you're just outside the vault itself. You almost panic. The waypoint finished counting down. 1. And it changes back to an arrow. You follow it and see that it's leading into the vault itself. Nope, you say to yourself and turn around. You ignore the waypoint and go back the way you came, towards the stairs. You're almost at the first step when you hear a voice shout from behind you.
Hey, you stop!
You run, taking the steps 2 at a time. There's a security guard at the top of the steps waiting for you, but the waypoint appears on APPeal's display and you dodge his nightstick and get past him. The action in the lobby pauses as you run through it, pushing past customers and out the revolving door. You don't stop running for at least 6 blocks, and then you duck into an alley, breathless. You use your phone to call a rideshare and take you back to your apartment. When you get home, you set APPeal on your work desk and collapse into bed, exhausted with adrenaline. You're woken by a rapid knocking at your door. When you answer, it's the police. They show a warrant for your arrest and take you into custody, saying you're being charged with attempted robbery. They take you to your precinct, where you meet with a lawyer. Apparently they pulled your face from security camera footage, and while it's not a completely shut case, your public defender advised you to plead guilty. With a spotless record like yours, you're more likely to get community service and probation rather than actual jail time. It all happens so fast. Pleading guilty means you don't have to endure a lengthy trial, and the judge seems like he's willing to be lenient when it comes to sentencing. But then the prosecution brings forward additional information and charges relating to sedition and purchasing illegal military hardware through black market connections. You sit as the evidence is brought forth. They present the new schematics for the upgrades you applied to APPeal after purchasing the Russian microchip, your occasional history of transactions on the dark web, your research and history with the university. You get a new lawyer. The previous one was ill-equipped to deal with someone charged with sedition. You have little to offer in the way of defense. The evidence strongly points to the direction the prosecution presents. The trial is little more than a show, and you're found guilty on all charges. The sentence is handed down. 20 years in prison for felony sedition against the government. You're remanded to a federal penitentiary where you spend the rest of your life. You spend the rest of your life in federal prison. The end.
Hey, thanks for listening. You've just completed a run-through of Create Your Own Pod Venture, APPeal, an audio drama written and produced by some nobodies at Grimwise Studios in Boulder County, Colorado. CYOP APPeal was edited by Zach Wiseman, written by Dylan Terry, and directed by Zach Wiseman and Dylan Terry. The original score for APPeal was composed by Jared Allen Gleason. CYOP APPeal stars Zach Wiseman, Suzanne Grimmer, Harrison Webb, Kayla Four, and Michael Colby, with other voices provided by Dylan Terry. Think you might have missed some of them? Go back, you can find their characters along a different story path. The story for CYOP APPeal was first developed by Zach and Dylan on episode 7 of Talking Upstream, a weekly show hosted by some nobodies on the Pod TV and Scene Snobs networks. You can keep up with Some Nobodies by visiting www.somenobodies.com, and if you want to help support them, visit patreon.com/somenobodies. If you do, you can add your name to the following list of supporters: Scott Curtis, Sarah Tkachik, Tanya Sheck, and the Listener Podcast app, with a very special thanks to Jim Eade of the Eade Foundation. Please give CYOP APPeal 5 stars on your favorite podcast platform, and visit facebook.com/CYOPod to show us which endings you discovered. To find the rest of the Some Nobodies family of podcasts, you can search for Silicon Angels, the Podcast, a podcast show, Talking Upstream, Twitching Upstream, or you can catch Zach and Dylan on The Real Boys on your chosen platform. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.